Welcome to the Fantasy Fair, the what is it? Oh, that is right, the most magical podcast on earth. Joining me today, I have the Alexises. How are you two Alexises doing?
We're going.
I mean, we're not Tweedledee and Tweedledum, okay? We're two different people. I think several times we have both...
You guys are? Honestly, right now, I over my computer monitor, it's like the Rey sequence in The Last Jedi when there were multiple Reys, except there's just multiple Alexises. I want one of you to snap your fingers and let's see the.
Or I could ignite the lightsaber and stab you.
Wow! All the way over here. You're not practicing safe social distancing,
Alexis. It's the
Alexis.
Force, remember? I can force project the lightsaber over to where you're at. Remember that?
Well, I mean, it won't be a real... Wait, yeah, it will. Yeah, it will. But would you do that to your dear old hostess with the mostest? I haven't said that in a while. Yeah, that's going back in the grave. Let's begin the show. This episode is a really special episode because we, for the first time in a long time, are doing a lists episode, everyone. A list, you say? Yes, we are. We're going to be discussing in this episode all of our favorite rides and attractions. I don't know how you guys want to do it first. Do you guys want to do entertainment first and then rides, or do you guys want to do rides and then presentations?
In tradition with Disney, a lot of these entertainment fairs are nighttime. Let's build our way up to the nighttime stuff and to the entertainment. So I'd rather we go off with attractions. And to be more specific, these are limited to the California parks, right?
To be fair, because Alexis Soto has not been to Walt Disney World, so in order to play fair, we are only doing everything from the Disneyland Resort. And I know we didn't have time to prepare for this, but if you guys want to throw out attractions from Florida as honorable mentions, or at least to talk about them, you can. I don't mind at all.
I have one, but it's in my entertainment list, not in my attraction list.
Beauty and the Beast. I can't wait for that section.
Whoa, slow down, Maurice.
Oh shit!
Crazy old Maurice.
Maurice, huh?
Fuck.
We're going crazy.
Yeah, we're in quarantine, guys. So you can practically taste the insanity coming off right now. This is pretty bad.
Day 6. Insert a SpongeBob title card here. Anyway, so let's begin with rides. Who goes first, guys?
Who goes first? You go first? I go first?
I go first.
Oh my god.
We should have talked about this before.
We should have.
We start recording.
Alphabetical order of last names.
Lira.
Okay. All right. I guess I'm up to bat first. All right. All right. Well, since Moreno is doing it, I within the last 3 minutes, I added an honorable mention.
Smooth.
So without further ado, here's my honorable mention, and it is indeed a Walt Disney World attraction. So here we go. My honorable mention is Mission Space. Okay, why are you looking at me like that, Moreno?
What was that noise?
What was
you didn't hear
noise?
that? Okay, I don't know if the people who listen can hear that. Kyle didn't hear that, but I think we were just joined by some kind of spirit.
Like a dog or something.
No, it was weird. There was a high-pitched voice. Like it was more like a...
I don't know what that was.
That was weird.
That was...
Greetings, mortals.
Oh, God.
Here we go. Okay, Mission Space. The reason why I like it is because I love the science and feeling about going into G-Force. Like like did their homework, and it felt like, I mean, I'm not an astronaut, as you could tell, but like this is the closest thing you'll feel to it, and yet also, who doesn't want to go to space? That's fucking awesome. It's like a childhood, fulfillment list right there. Being an astronaut for a couple of minutes is freaking phenomenal. I know a new person is there, but give me some Gary Sinise doing the video, and I think you got a perfect recipe for this. Just the feeling of like weightlessness when you're going up, quote unquote going up, it just like it induces you, and it's just like it's the ultimate thrill ride that no other thrill ride could satisfy. So Mission Space is awesome. Go on it. Unless you have horrible motion sickness, then in that case refrain from doing it. Otherwise, all over your screen is gonna have whatever you ate, whatever churro you ate before. Or no, never mind. I was gonna recommend Drink Around the World and then go on a Mission Space. But that would be a completely horrible idea. Don't listen to me, everyone. So Mission Space is my honorable mention. Any thoughts?
I didn't get on that one, so I wouldn't know.
I know very little about the attraction, but it's definitely a bucket list if you're going to go to Disney World. That just sounds like... I've always wanted to experience an attraction like that. I think I even in my mind played around with, because, we're Disney fans and we kind of think, okay, what would make a nice little attraction? I'd always think like something like that in like our Disneyland Tomorrowland would be very exciting. Like maybe not as high concept, but maybe themed to like WALL-E or something. Because I know I just saw WALL-E recently, but I always have that image in my mind of him like reaching with his hand across the nebula. And that would be cool if we could be able to do something like that with a Disney attraction. I think it fit Tomorrowland perfectly.
And use like G-force replication technology to like feel weightlessness. With
yes, I'd love that. Somebody should get on
that. I like how, while that sounds like a good idea, I like the fact that it's not an IP. I like how it's like an original idea. Yeah. And I like how it harkens to classic Disney and just like ideas and everything like that. So Mission Space. Number 10, speaking of childhood fulfillments and childhood interests, this one very much reaches to the child in me, and that is The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Hear me out.
AKA the best air conditioning.
It is.
That is a bonus. Okay. Before I go into the bulk of the list, I wanted to also point out that to me it isn't like the best or like the worst and all that stuff. It's just like what speaks to me emotionally, what this list should scream Kyle, and everything like that. So it's like what interests me personally. It's not necessarily the best attraction. It's not necessarily the worst. It's just like everything like that. So number 10, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Yes, you're absolutely right. The best air conditioning by far. But I love its complex simplicity that it has, because it's just you're watching Winnie the Pooh do his thing with his friends. That's it. Yeah, you get high a little bit with the Huffalumps and Woozles part, but overall it's just a simple ride. It's just Pooh going about his adventures, and that's it. And it's a simple ride, and yet there's like so much charm, because like if you love the characters of everyone in the 100 Acre Wood, you would obviously dive into this, really warmly. And plus, hearing the Sherman Brothers themes in the back is just an added bonus to that. So The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, I think, is a classic in many regards. there are people who contemplate whether this ride is overrated. I don't think that it's overrated or underrated. I think it's just rated because this is a good chill time. If you want a nice time to relax amongst the madness around the parks, because there is a lot of hustle and bustle with the crowds and everything like that, and if you want to take a break from that, this is a perfect place to relax and just enjoy a story being told before your very eyes. And I think that's what Disney attractions do really well, is tell a story. And this is like one of the definitions of like it's telling a story of Pooh going about his day. A lot of stuff happens, and here we go. Yes, Alexis.
You know what really helps this attraction? Of course, being a wonderful dark ride all in of itself. I really want to make sure we don't overlook the proximity of this attraction. I think it's really good that there is a dark ride of that caliber that's not located in Fantasyland, because we all love and cherish those Fantasyland attractions, especially the ones behind the castle. However, it is so congested just about every single time you go there that most of those rides are like skip, because why would you go through that? And Winnie the Pooh is always away from that and always accessible, which I appreciate every single time. And I almost take advantage of it every time that I'm by there, because usually I'm like waiting for Splash Mountain or done with Splash Mountain, and Pooh is right there. And
have you ever been on it?
Yeah. Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh? Yeah. Many times. It's great. Yeah. I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, also, another added bonus. This is just like, the tip of the iceberg and just like the icing on the cake, if you will. Literally and figuratively. I know what's at the end of that tunnel. I'm going to get myself down goddamn motherfucking Tigger Tails. So that's another added bonus of that, because like it's just right there. Ride Pooh, enjoy a Tigger Tail afterwards, and I'm 100% a happy boy after doing that. All right, number 9. I'm gonna be saying the word immersive a lot, so take a shot every time I say the word immersive. This is definitely an immersive ride, and I think that what they did, and who knew of a certain movie trilogy could do that with this ride. And not only that, it's kind of like the precursor of what Galaxy's Edge is, and that is Radiator Springs Racers. Radiator Springs Racers, I feel, is like perfect. You want to race like Lightning McQueen, but you want to chillax with some of the characters in Cars as well. You want to see, oh wow, and you want to see dadgum and whatever you have there. But honestly, it's just like the animatronics, like the way that they make plastic look fluid, amazing. That's just an amazing like animatronic work right there. And after that, you start in, it's like a typical dark ride and all this stuff, but then all of a sudden it blows Autopia out of the water, and like you start charging down through Monument Valley, you see. And also I highly recommend you ride this ride at night, because the colors on the waterfall and the way that they made it look, and
yes,
Randy Newman's score playing off in the background is just gorgeous and pinnacle Disney breathtaking. But then all of a sudden it doesn't linger on it too long, so you'll never get enough of it, and that's like part of the best part of it. So when you're in Radiator Springs Racers, you see that, the waterfall and all that shit where Sally, caught a glimpse of Lightning McQueen and vice versa, and love is in the air. But then all of a sudden you start charging in with the car, and it's just like you get the ultimate thrill ride that Disney is also known for. And so it's just like a perfect recipe of like different things that Disney does.
If I may,
yes,
just to back you up on what you just said, look, in many ways, all Disney attractions, especially the ones in this new era, are definitely built for whatever time of the day that you want to do it. But there is it's even more magical at night, with the whole Ornament Valley mountain lit up. It's
I don't think I've ever done it at night.
You need to. It's beautiful. Like just walking at Cars Land at nighttime is a gift. It really is.
Life could be a dream.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
It's good. Moreno, anything you want to add?
It's great. I think one of my favorite parts about that ride is the music in it. When you hit the waterfall. Oof.
Yeah. Yeah.
It, like, Randy Newman's score really swells, and I like that. Like, what a great addition.
I don't even know what the expectations were for this when this was first announced. Look, Cars is not a property none of us really love all that much, and yet this is a bona fide Disney classic if I ever saw one. As far as an attraction is concerned, it really blew away all expectations. It blew mine away, and I had like high expectations for this ride.
Yeah, and it honestly, and I said it before, I've never stepped foot into Galaxy's Edge. Oh, by the way, guys, this list.
I haven't either. I haven't. So.
By the way, guys, this list is severely out of date because a bunch of shit has been added, especially to well, I'll save it for later. But my list is kind of out of date. So, what? You guys still feel the spirit?
There's a weird whistle sound coming from somewhere. I don't know where that was. It's just go on.
Well, speaking of weird and supernatural, let's get to my number 8. I love myself some good horror. I love everything like that, and this is horror mixed with good family fun. If you're a certain height limit, and that is Twilight Zone: Tower of Terror.
Speaking of out of date.
Yeah, speaking of out of date. Well, it's still alive and well in Hollywood studios.
Yes.
So there's a.
I was about to say, we could do old attractions, but I forgot that. Seen the new one.
Well, it's like just to clear it up now, Kyle. When was the last time you were at Disneyland?
Oh God, 2013. Okay.
So this is applicable to your last visit to Disneyland, I would think, right? And
yeah, just like the memory feelings and everything like that surrounding it is just like.
Moreno, did you do the one at Disney World?
No, I did the one next to it, the Rock and Roller Coaster.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised you didn't get on that one since you missed the old Tower of Terror here in California.
Well, because that one, the line was long for that one, so I had to kind of pick and choose which one I wanted to do.
Right, yeah.
Featuring Aerosmith, radical man. Their Twilight Zone Tower of Terror had like Haunted Mansion walked so this ride could run. The theming and the storytelling that they put in it is just impeccably great. First of all, you have somebody doing a great, I mean, it's archive footage of Rod Serling, but somebody doing a damn good impression of him to like fit the narrative of the Tower of Terror is just absolutely wonderful, and you feel like you're actually stepping into a Twilight Zone episode, you know. And I think that's great theming. Again, it's like this immersive nature of Disney that they do so well that I think that they can't be topped in terms of where they are theme park wise, in terms of like the immersive nature of everything. It feels creepy, it looks creepy, it smells creepy, like that. Like, I don't know how they do it, but it has this consistent musty dust.
But it's
smell.
More than just creepy. They do a good job of scaring you to death. I remember so many times, trying to challenge myself to get in there, and every single time right before they began the ride, they always, up until the end, just like scare me right where I needed to be to where the ride would go.
Yeah, it really puts you into your place to like put yourself into the position to get into this ride, and I think that's absolutely beautiful. And like also, this is another thing where you add in another element of the ride, and it makes it that more immersive. the way the cast members like to ham it up.
Yeah.
When you go on it.
This is the ride where I first saw like cast members fully get into character, and it was very much appreciated.
Yeah.
And they're like, prepare to meet your doom, and then they close the door.
Time I was like in front of the door, like where they would open. I didn't hear it open. I didn't hear the cast member walk up right behind me because I was facing away from the door. And so as soon as like everybody started like just looked up, and I turned around and he's right there and he's like smiling like all creepy, and I'm like, oh, like I yelled, like it was so loud.
Wow.
But yeah, again, the cast members doing their damn job and doing it damn well. Pay them more, Disney. I think that this is an incredible ride that like it sweeps you off your feet literally, because every time I ride, my ass is off that chair like 5 feet and everything like that.
You've no idea. Like, and holy shit! You try and hold down so hard, and yet like your hardest can't even get your ass at least sitting on the chair. Like if you weren't wearing that seatbelt, you'd be dead. Like you'd fly off, and you don't know where the fuck you'd land. Yeah, maybe in Bugs Land. Oh wait, or at that time.
Well, you know what? You could make an argument like, a Bugs Land, because that attraction is also dead. Okay, horrible joke. Moving on with this attraction, it is absolutely scary at parts. The story it tells is absolutely intriguing, and it puts you into an episode. And I like that we're part of the episode, like a Twilight episode. And I think that is like, it absolutely twists that level of storytelling and ride. And I love when Disney does that. Number 7. Okay. This, like, knowing the backstory about it now, it's crazy. And I think that coming off of a problematic movie, I think it's a bold choice to make this ride like the way it is. And honestly, like, nothing could fathom it. I think Splash Mountain is bar none a great ride. You got to find your happy place, and that's the whole thing. Again, it's storytelling mixed with thrills, and it's just one of these things that I don't think again anywhere else does something like this. The animatronics still hold up motherfucking well. Like
they're old. Like they're not even original to this ride, which is wild.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They were part of like Disney.
They've seen some things.
American Scenes.
The American Scenes, yeah, and they're just like part of like the picked in pieces and all that stuff. But then the way that they used it, reutilize it in here, and do something else with it, and to make it, I don't know, like the timeless feeling of it, like you automatically feels timeless. And to think that this didn't open up with the original park, but it's an 80s byproduct. I think that's incredible too, to make it feel like it's an original attraction, but it's an 80s ride, a late 80s ride, I might add. And with that being said, you get one of the best Disney songs, I might add, even though younger generations will not know of it unless it's from Splash Mountain and at Zippity Doo Dah. Like adding that in there, then putting in the story of Briar Rabbit and just like all these different things really accumulate this. And also, you're gonna get wet. You're gonna get wet. It is nice. And again, there's like, we talked about this on Radiator Springs Racers, it is an experience to experience both in the day and the night. The night adds another level of like, I don't know, more immersiveness, I guess, because it's kind of colder at night, and then when you get wet, you automatically feel like that chill. It's just like a different thing of the elements working together with the ride, and it's great.
This is one of the best attractions I think ever, and also to keep in mind that I think really, really specific to this attraction, maybe one other one, you really should take into consideration changing into different clothes before going on this, or having a spare change of clothes after getting on this, if you're not going to have the raincoat or the tarp on you, and if you're not extra socks, shoes. I usually when I do this, I think either change into sandals, I think, afterward.
Yeah. Oh, what are you sharing, Marino?
McDonald's is closing.
Like what do you mean
Like
Like
for the virus.
Yeah, well, yeah, but like, are they closing even like the ability to pick up food?
I think so.
Wow.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, you.
Like, okay. Yeah. Change into clothes. Highly recommended. Moreno, any thoughts on that?
It's not my favorite of the mountains, but it's my favorite music.
Yeah, it again.
Well, she doesn't like the water, remember?
That still boggles my mind. Her favorite Disney princess is Ariel. I don't know. Moreno, you are a complex creature. Anyway, I love the when you're talking about IP property, like this is one of the first to like fully bring that out and like become like a blockbuster in much the vein that this IP was. And you can't go wrong with a John Williams score backing you up when you're doing these thrill rides, and that is Star Tours. Star Tours, what you said? I know what.
Nothing. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay.
It was the ghost.
Am I hearing that ghost that you guys keep on talking about? Star Tours, I think, is when you're talking about IPs, this does it right, and it makes you immerse. Like you feel like you're going to like an actual launch bay. It makes you feel like you're actually at a spaceport in the Star Wars world. It helps that 3PO and R2D2 are right there up in the front of the queue, ready to welcome you into this wild ride that you're going to take. It is. It's simple, really. I mean, it's just a hydraulic machine moving a vehicle to a choreographed screen, and yet it does so much with that little bit of thing in such little space that you're seeing the ingenuity of Disney in itself, like Imagineering, because it does take that little bit, but it does it really well. I like the original Star Tours, but then I didn't think that it was possible. I was kind of trepidatious after realizing that they were going to do the Adventure Continues portion after that. And when they did the Adventure Continues, I was like, wow, they actually did something like that, because like Leia would come in and say, you know, you're our only hope, kind of thing, to making us the rebellion. And I again, out of date, I don't know like the full spectrum of the Star Wars attractions anymore as of 2013, but we'll see how this shifts after I've attended everything, when we get to
Have you guys ever
when.
been the rebel spy?
No. It's always the person
Next.
like two people two persons next to me or right next to me. Like it's always one of those, but it's just like it's not like one of, you know, or one of the people that you're traveling with. It's never that, but I like that. I like again, also talk about animatronics. Like it's so perfectly blended because animatronics kind of look real body anyway. The animatronic work for C-3PO is impeccable. It captures like not only what not only is it like fluid in its movements like how it's supposed to, but like they capture Anthony Daniels' mannerisms perfectly when C-3PO is doing his little thing and like piloting the ship, and it's everything. It's great, and it's 3D. It's such a thing of its time that still feels timeless after that, because putting on your 3D glasses, that's such a, like an 80s ride to do. That's such a 90s ride thing to do. You know, you had Terminator 3D at Universal Studios. You had like everything 3D, you know, going on with attractions, and you throw on your 3D glasses or your safety visors, and you put it on, and automatically it's just like I don't know, it feels right. It doesn't feel like out of place, out of touch. It has like that right level of nostalgia, but you add in this other level of detail that with the animatronics, the screen that's set before you, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I can't recommend the ride enough. Any thoughts on my number 6? Okay, they nodded their head. Number 5. Is it possible to like a ride just because of the music alone? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that in this one because Soarin', like nothing captures that kind of like ingenuity of like Imagineering and everything like that much like Soarin' does. And when you hear, and also it's Michael, I think Alexis Soto might fight me on this, I don't know, but I think it's his best piece, Michael Giacchino. And he like this, the way it swells, the way it builds up with like a synthetic riff, like the and then it just crashes into like this big old grand orchestra piece. Like I've never heard anything like that. It's so eargasmic, you know, that I've never ever experienced before. And also, it's great because you're getting breathtaking scenery filmed on IMAX cameras, 4K IMAX cameras, and that was like way ahead of its time before 4K was like widely available to the public. So you're getting like the first 4K footage as well, and on top of that, you can't help but appreciate the fact that you're host is Patrick fucking Warburton. Hello, don't forget to put these babies underneath your seat. And then it's a fucking Mickey ears, and it's just like, it's charming. It's charming as hell. It's like the same charm that I feel overwhelmed with the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. I mean, it's just a brilliant level of wonder. I could say, like, you get this sense of wonder that you're taking on with Soarin', and the music does not help. I cry when I hear the score. It's just like one of my favorite pieces of music, and it's just like the way that it's just like it's well composed. The key changes are minimal, but like when it does do it, it's so seamless. And it's just a beautiful composed bit of music, mixed with good scenery, mixed with, you might feel like your shoes or flip-flops are gonna fall off, and it's just gonna be wound up on the bottom of the floor. You don't give a shit. It's just it is just one of those things where you just like, you're taken in by what is being presented in front of you, and you completely forget about everything around you. And I feel that with Soren, and Soren is absolutely, absolutely breathtaking. Any thoughts on that?
Soren is great.
I concur.
Soren is great. Okay. My number 4. Come on, everybody. Here we go. Peter Pan's Flight is a childhood classic of mine. I've always loved Peter Pan growing up. This is like my OG like obsession IP, I guess. Because I loved Peter Pan. I remember a little backstory on my Peter Pan obsession. I asked my poor grandmother to drive me to different libraries in San Diego. Like, I think the majority of them, just so I could read all the different versions of the Peter Pan story. And I read, yeah, that's how like obsessed I was. And I just love the story of Peter Pan, and it's such a timeless tale as well. And getting that little bit of what I failed to mention before is that this is an atmospheric ride. And you're getting the sense of like childhood wonder that I think is perfectly captured with Peter Pan's Flight. And it's much in the kin of what Disneyland is. It's capturing the inner childlike essence of yourself. And it is absolutely true to form with this ride. It is telling a beloved tale, and you're in it. The models and everything that they use is absolutely well detailed, crafted. The LEDs that they use for the stars is absolutely insane. When I was little, I almost fell off the boat because I was trying to touch one of the LEDs.
Oh my
True
God.
Story. But overall, it's just a absolute thrill ride for, again, with such little. I mean, it's simple. It's simple, but it's complex, and I like that how it is with that. And again, Peter Pan's Flight is very atmospheric. You feel that the music playing in the background, when you're just waiting in the queue and you hear the score playing off, and you're getting like all the colors that is like put in from like Claude, what's his name? No, Mark Davis and Mary Blair, like their colors seep through the designs as well. So another added level of bonus detail to that. So I love it. Any thoughts on that? Yeah, Moreno gave me the thumbs up. Alexa Soto does not care. Okay. My number 3 is it is, again, it's such a simple ride, but every time I'm there, I have to do it because no more will you get a better grip at the magnitude that is Disneyland than the Disneyland Railroad. The Disneyland Railroad, I think, is a wonderful ride. You get just, number one, it gives your feet a chance to relax after all that shit. But also, you get a sense of Walt's identity because the boy, he loved himself some trains. But also, you get some added things that you don't see in the other parks, like when you see like the dinosaurs and all that stuff. That's another. Okay. You see that? You see a little bit of Splash Mountain in there somewhere.
Yeah, that's cool.
But also hearing the announcer like all aboard, it's just like it's such classic Disneyland iconography that I don't think is paralleled with that. It, like, the sounds, you get the complete 360 literally of Disneyland, and no other ride is going to give you that thing. And it's a tour. You get a people watch, you get to see anything going in, and it's just absolutely beautiful. you're not going to get any other attraction that gives you the full scope of Disneyland, like the Disneyland Railroad, and I love that. And also it's like taking in all of the Disneyland magic all in one, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So Disneyland Railroad is my number 3. My number 2, I love myself some immersive adventure rides, and this is no exception. I fell in love with this ride the minute I set foot in it. When I see the temple and like its massiveness, I absolutely wind back to the kid that saw Raiders of the Lost Ark for the first time.
Those are movies? I'm kidding.
Yes, believe it or not.
Kidding. I actually like those movies a lot.
Unlike some, I will not name names. But Indiana Jones Adventure, I think, is awesome. Just like there's no other words to describe it. It is you're following Indiana Jones, and you feel like you're following, again, it's like going back to number 10, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. You're following Indy on this ride, and you're putting yourself in the perils that he goes through. And it is one of those rides that, that you don't come out the same after riding that ride, because you do get that experience unlike Indiana Jones Adventure, because you do feel like you're in the movie. You feel like you're in a movie. And I always love that feeling. I mean, the thing that makes Disneyland so unique is that it's trying to capture what it feels like to be in a movie. And I think that this is the perfect example of that. There's just no other movie that, no other ride that does that, unlike Indiana Jones Adventure. Yes, I know that is not Harrison Ford doing the voice. I don't give a shit. To me, that's Indy. The way that the
I didn't even
animatronic
realize.
works. Exactly. It's not Harrison Ford, but yet you believe that it's Harrison Ford because of like the job that they do well capturing his like stoic mannerisms is unlike any other. You get a little bit of the icons that you feel going into it. You have the arrows darting past you. You have everything like that. It's just a beautifully crafted ride. It is in a different part of the park, which I didn't find out until like 7 years ago. And that blows my mind, the fact that you're able to go from one place and you're deep within the park and you're out of the park. In terms of a thing called showrooms, and the fact that the way that the track moves, like the intricacies with the track and the way that it it has to turn in order for it to make this move, and that was the first time I got a full scale of what Imagineering can do. And honestly, like, it is pretty much the reason why I fell in love with Star Wars, is because I gotta realize how what's inside baseball. How is the cheese made? And I found that out with Indiana Jones Adventure. I had to look up how do they do this? How do they do that? And it was just this awesome thing. Tony Baxter, I love you. You're an insane but brilliant man for concocting this magnum opus of a ride. But that's not my number 1. Moreno and Alexis, can you guess what my number 1 is?
Pirates.
I'm sorry. I thought you were at number 3.
No.
Well,
no, I'm at number 2. You see, if you were paying attention,
it was Sword Over
Alexis,
California, then there was Peter Pan's Flight. And what was in between Indiana Jones and Peter Pan's Flight?
Railroad.
Okay, Peter Pan's Flight, Disneyland Railroad, Indiana Jones Adventure.
Okay.
Okay, so Alexis Soto, what's my number 1?
Pirates
Can
of
you
the
take a wild
Caribbean.
guess?
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yo ho, really bad eggs. God damn, this ride takes me to childhood. The smell of the musty, not chlorine, but something else. Like it's the mixture of like carpet shampoo and something else. I don't know what that smell is. It's undefinable. It's probably not good for you, but you love it anyway. It is like this infectious thing that as soon as you hear the distant, you know, again, atmospheric. You hear the distant clanking of the Blue Bayou restaurant, of the plates and everything like that. But then all of a sudden you're slowly transitioned out of that. Like, I don't know how they do it, but they slowly transition you out of that, and then you hear ding 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 ding, you know, on the banjo, and you see things going off, and then you hear like water going down some chasm you don't know what, and you have this talking skeleton head, you know, telling you to brace yourself and hold on tight with both hands, if you please, and take you down this waterfall, and you don't stop until you get to this unbelievable world of pirates being pirates, you know. And it just so happens that Jack Sparrow, Barbossa, and all that stuff are in there as of 2006. But I love that this doesn't tell a story other than these are just pirates doing what the fuck they want. You know, and like it's just, you get to witness the madness that is this, and you're thoroughly entertained with all the details of what's going on in these pirates' lives. Moreno, you reference this. I get a kick out of it. Don't tell him, Carlos. Don't be chicken. Just like that little bit of iconography going on with the ride. Just no ride does it better than that. The way that it just like transports you. It takes you out of everything. You're not wondering how the cheese is made. You're just like, this is insane. What is in front of me? How is this happening? And you get to see, like, not only Javier Atencio's wonderful song, Yo-Oh, A Pirate's Life for Me, but, like, the other stuff with George Brunn's score. One of my favorite atmosphere tunes to play when I'm homesick for Disney is, I love hearing, like, the flute bit that plays in the beginning, and then I love playing that, and honestly that just takes me into it. I love it. Before you go into the ride, you could play a little game, knock on the window, the person on the other side knocks on it as well. Fun as hell. It's just something to pass the time. And also the ride, like the lines never feel that long. You could be there for 15 minutes, 2 hours, and you honestly, because of the anticipation of going into Pirates, it doesn't feel like it's taking long. Because the prize at the end of the tunnel is that sweet, you know? And honestly, I don't think that any other ride can compare to that. And Pirates of the Caribbean is just definition, mwah, chef's kiss, wee wee, mademoiselle, you know? It's just like wonderful bit of Disney attraction that I don't think anybody is gonna move it in that position of number one anytime soon. Because I just love it. I loved it since childhood. It's one of my favorite film franchises, so that kind of helps as well. And it's just like I feel like a pirate. I feel like a pirate. I feel like a kid again when I ride it. It's just like the ultimate burst of nostalgia that you get when you ride the ride, and it honestly overwhelms my heart. Like, I feel like I'm at Disneyland when I ride it. Like, I'm here. Disneyland, like, this is the moment where I'm realized, yep, I'm home. And that I don't think I honestly, oh man. Okay. I don't, Pirates of the Caribbean is awesome. I love it. Number one. There it is.
Just to recap, your list was number 10, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Number 9, Radiator Springs Racers. Number 8, The Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. Number 7, Splash Mountain. Number 6, Star Tours. Number 5, Soarin' Over California. Number 4, Disneyland Railroad. That's right.
No, number 4 was Peter Pan's Flight.
Peter Pan's Flight. Then number 3 was Disneyland Railroad?
Yes.
Okay. Number 3 was Disneyland Railroad. Number 2 was Indiana Jones Adventure. And number 1 was Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yep. Who saw that coming?
Well, everybody did. Great list. I think there's really nothing bad we can say about any of these rides.
Yep.
So, yep.
All right.
Well, me?
Alexis Moreno. You're up to bat.
So some of them are on my list too. So if I need to add anything, I'll just
Wait a
add
minute.
it.
Wait, how many honorable mentions do you have?
Oh, I have 10. But
Yeah,
I'll
I
just
have
go
10
through them
as-
really quick.
Okay.
Okay, Peter, go ahead.
But yeah, if I have anything to add, I'll just say it. So for my honorable mentions, I have the Tiki Room, Splash Mountain, Space Mountain, Peter Pan's Flight, Monsters Inc., Winnie the Pooh, Incredicoaster, Buzz, what is it called? Astro Blasters?
Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters.
Animation Academy, and Alice in Wonderland.
Wait, did you say Astro Blasters?
Yeah.
Wait, the spin ride?
Yeah.
The Buzz one.
That,
It kind of
I
spins
thought you
too.
said Astro Orbiter. I'm so,
No.
I was about to chew you out. No. It's Buzz Lightyear's Astro Blasters.
Yeah, that's what I
Tomorrow.
Okay, so it's Tiki Room, Splash Mountain, Incredicoaster, Buzz
Space Mountain.
Blasters, Space Mountain. Okay.
It's Tiki Room, Splash Mountain, Space Mountain.
Oh, you're writing these too? Sorry, I didn't know.
I'm trying to. No, Tiki
Sorry.
Room, Splash Mountain, Space Mountain. What does that even say? Peter Pan's Flight, Monsters Inc., Incredicoaster, Winnie the Pooh, Astro Blasters, and what was the other ones?
Animation Academy and Alice in Wonderland.
Gotcha. Wow, Alice in Wonderland is an honorable mention.
Holy shit. Okay.
Wow.
It's anyone's guess in this one.
Okay. So for my number 10,
Okay.
it's
Oh boy.
Astro Orbiter, fuck off. I'm sorry,
Number 10.
Astro Blasters. Wait.
I like how you
No.
say that right after you can't really say anything bad about these rides.
Well, no.
number 10
I
is-
love Astro Blasters. I thought you were talking about the Astro Orbiter, that hunk of junk that needs to be
No.
ripped apart.
But you know what? Much in like Alexis Moreno fashion, it wouldn't surprise me you throw a curveball like putting number 10 as Astro Orbiter.
No. My number 10.
Automatic shutdown.
No.
It's Mission Breakout.
Oh, yes. Upset. I love it. This is, hold on. This is just a moment to bask in the glory of this. This is coming from the person who bitched, whined, and moaned that Tower of Terror was being murdered in order to move way for the Guardians. That being said, when this was announced that Tower of Terror was being changed into Guardians, everybody was like, all right, this is a joke, right? Because this is like the stupidest idea ever.
Well, okay. My reasoning behind complaining was that it's like moving. I mean, you can't really see the castle from the outside, but like it's like moving the Matterhorn, like changing the Matterhorn. That was like my complaint about it, because
Okay.
it was such like an icon to
Right,
DCA.
yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
So that, like, I didn't mind that it was, like, changing, but I did mind that it was changing for that reason only.
I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
That being said, damn, number 10.
Yeah.
Ooga chaka, ooga chaka.
It's a great ride. They definitely like amped it up, which is great because I love thrill rides. So yeah. The theming of it is great. I don't know if I like the outside as much as I did with Tower of Terror. But the inside definitely is like way better.
The outside took a little time to grow on me, I will say, because the outside of Tower of Terror was just, it's iconic, right?
Yeah.
How can you like touch that? Yeah. And this new version was like, okay, I can get used to it, but you got to get used to it. Yeah. The inside, though, it's like, this reminds you why Disney is Disney, because they take a property from Guardians of the Galaxy, and, the I word that's going to be used, they immersify everything in there, and like you're transported to the collector's place,
fortress.
Yes, you're in the movie.
Yeah,
that's how great
even
it
like
is.
the plants on the queue, like they make them look like if it's like from outer space or something.
Yes,
like it's great.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a Stan Lee cameo in there. So
there is, yeah. No, it's honestly, when I went to go on that, it was one of the most enjoyable times to just wait in the queue, because there's so many things you can. It's more than just looking for hidden Mickeys. You're literally looking for Easter eggs everywhere you are, and looking at the plants and the songs being played and everything. It's oh god.
Also, it's a sensational bonus that the full cast is playing their parts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
It's a great ride. Also depending on the song, because there's one song where I'm like, ooh, no, I better not get it. But any other song, it's fine.
What's the song?
Hit Me With
Burning
Your Best
Love?
Shot. No, I love that one.
Yeah,
I hate that song. I don't know why.
Hit Me With Your Bet. Yeah, it's kind of.
Fire away.
You know what? That's actually a little bit of a complaint. Why would they use songs not used in the movies?
Yeah.
Like, you have Hooked on a Feeling. You just pick the songs that were in the first two movies. Like, you got enough bops there. But, like, Hit Me With Your Best Shot? I mean...
you could even add Rubber Band Man from Infinity
War.
Or,
Dear Mr. There's so many you could use from the Guardians, like, canon. So it's like, why would you...
Mr. Blue Sky? That would have been awesome.
Oh my god, yes, it would have been. But it's like, you know what's... I don't know if it was your experience, but like, and a lot of people said this initially when this ride came out, that somehow, and good God, I hope this doesn't like damage the infrastructure of the damn tower, but it's somehow more intense than the Tower of Terror was. The drops, anyway.
Well, I think obviously the difference is that it's never steady. It just always keeps going. Whereas Tower of Terror, you just go up, you stop, you go down, you stop, you go up, you stop.
It was nauseating, man.
But yeah, I don't know. It's I like that they did that. Like, I like that they made it more of a thrill ride than it already was. Yeah. I love, like, the drop rides. Like, I don't know if you guys have been to Knott's Berry Farm. I've gone on the tall one, the roller coaster, and the drop one. So, I love those rides. So, yeah, that's my number 10.
We're already off to a shocking surprise. I love it.
My number 9 is Haunted Mansion. Which I'm surprised Kyle didn't put it on his list.
I am too. I really am. I thought this would have been on there. Is this the OG version or the Nightmare version?
Oh.
Does it matter or both?
I didn't think of
that. Or, I mean, you could do both, I guess, right?
Because, I mean, Nightmare Before Christmas is one of my favorite movies, and you also get gingerbread smells. So, but I mean, honestly, Hatbox Ghost has my heart, so I had to put this right in there.
It's a gobsmacking on animatronic. I'll say,
Yeah.
Honestly, it's you're left just speechless at that animatronic. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It's, I think, yeah, when you say immersive, I think this one, like, it has to be at one of the top of the list. Like, this one and Pirates, I think, are the most immersive, I guess.
There's a better I word, I feel, than just immersive. It is immersive, but because of how inventive they are.
Yeah.
There's just nothing like those two attractions.
And there's so, like, I'm like a merch person, clearly, as you can see my room. Like, I love collecting stuff, and I feel like Haunted Mansion has, like, the most things that you could collect out of a ride. So I love that. And, like, I don't know, like, when I was little, this ride used to scare me, obviously, because I'm a chicken. But, like...
Oh, yeah. I was scared of the damn spider.
Don't be chicken.
No, in that room, in the room where it's, like, going down, the stretchy room, and there's, like, you cue the lightning and the sound.
Thing.
Yeah. That shit was like, okay, I was ready.
No, mine is the bride. I can't sit next to the side where she's at. I have to always sit on the other side. And I always have to look away. But, like, it's great. Like, I know I get scared a lot, but, like, I like the feeling of being scared also. So, like, it's fine. And this is just another great ride, I think.
It's a never-ending cycle. Honestly, you mentioned why it's not on my list. It's because I wasn't until... I mean, nothing really... it's a great ride. It's a great ride. There's a lot of, like, visual gags, and on it, Madame Leota is, like, animatronic goals for me. But, like, in terms of, like, childhood wonder, I was, like, trying to picture, like, what is, like, the essence of Disneyland, and that's what I based my list on. And Haunted Mansion, while it's, like, it's definitely wonderful, it just doesn't capture, like, the childhood innocence, like, how other rides
also,
did.
This ride was going to be a walkthrough? No way I would ever do that.
It's going to be, like, a creepy museum.
Oh, no. It was going to be a wax museum. Nope.
Which, if you could barely tolerate animatronics, imagine them just being still.
No.
They would imagine that would be, like, more unsettling for you, right?
Because, I don't know, I feel... And then also, like, you just kind of... You're only there for a second. Like, you don't walk. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. But anyways, yeah, Haunted Mansion. My number 8 is Soarin'.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, great ride. Like, I don't know if
in your case, just to be clear, California, right? Not over the world.
I don't know.
Or okay.
Or is it just in general?
I'm gonna say over the world.
Okay.
Because, like, obviously, like, I haven't traveled a lot, and so, like, seeing all these places,
except
like,
Disney.
close up, like, except Disney, yes. So seeing these places, like, close up, like, I think is great. And then the way that the ride makes you feel like you're actually, like, hang gliding, like, it's great. I love this ride. The music is great. Kronk is great. I love it. I also like that this is a ride that's fairly somewhat new, and it doesn't have, like, it's not like a movie ride. Or, like, it doesn't have
an IP.
Yeah. So that's,
Yeah, that's super, super rare.
yeah. So that's really cool. Number 7 is Radiator Spring Racers.
Welcome to Radiator Springs.
Yeah, and I mean, Kyle pretty much said it all. This ride, I mean, is great. And like I said, the waterfall scene with the music literally makes me cry every time. So
yeah.
It's great. And then it's such like a smooth ride too, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. Number 6, Pirates of the Caribbean.
This is an upset. Well, not an upset. It's there, but it's like
So
whoa,
low.
whoa.
So low. Okay.
I mean, this ride, like, it means a lot to me. Like, all of these rides pretty much mean a lot to me.
Of course.
But, like, this ride was my grandma's favorite ride. Like, every time we would go with her, like, we still do. We always get on. But it's such a creative ride, and such, like, you're literally, like, in awe the whole time because of the construction of it, the theming, like, everything, the music. Yeah, it's great. And what?
To add on to what you're saying about Pirates of the Caribbean, it is, you are just amazed with the detail that they put into the world. The size and scope of the ship when you first enter into the pirates world is just incredible. And honestly, when I mentioned Pirates of the Caribbean, I mentioned like the Disneyland Pirates of the Caribbean. I think if we were talking about the Walt Disney World Pirates of the Caribbean, it would be.
I think I texted you guys as soon as I got off of that ride, and I was like, "What is this?"
It sucks, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's number one, it's too spaced out. Everything is too far apart from each other.
It's so short.
Yeah. First of all, there's only one drop versus the 2 that we have in California. Also, again, you have to have like a fucking binoculars to see what's going on the other side, because it's like it's too spaced out. You know, you don't get that intimate feeling with enjoying the. You don't feel like you're in the world. You just feel like you're watching it from afar. You know, in Florida. So I get. You know, it's just yeah.
Also,
okay.
"Don't be chicken" is my favorite line in any ride.
It's a great line.
Okay, so number 5 is the Mad Tea Party.
Okay.
I mean, I had to include an Atlas ride. This ride.
This is the one to include.
This is the one.
Not
Because
the nightclub, right?
Oh no. I did this one instead of the other one because I don't always get on the Alice ride because the line is always so long. So this is the one, like, to compensate for that, this is the one that I get on. And I mean, this ride is Fantasyland to me. And that's like my favorite of all the lands. So yeah, it's just, I love it. The music, I love it. It's great. Also, lavender teacup.
Just specifically
the lavender teacup. So number 4 is Big Thunder Mountain. My favorite mountain.
Okay.
Ooh.
Wow. Holy shit.
I love this ride. This is one of the only fast rides that my mom gets on. So I love it because, like, I get to see her, like, experience it every time. I remember that, like, long period of time when it was closed. I missed it so much, and I had to compensate getting on the Matterhorn, which I don't like at all. But yeah, like the theme of this ride is, I think, great. I know that it's like not a super fast ride, but I like that because I feel like everybody could get on it, which is I think the best. Because like with Incredicoaster, like not a lot of people can handle it and stuff, but I think this one, like, it's more inclusive to more people, which again I like. What else? I don't know, but yeah, Big Thunder is just like a ride that I always have to like get on, and I like that the line is never like super long either, for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, but like this, like, over Splash Mountain and stuff, because I don't really like getting wet. And then Space Mountain, I hardly ever get on Space Mountain. But yeah, this is like the one. Like if I'm only at Disneyland, like this is the one that I like get on.
What's the matter? Afraid to get wet? Davy Jones. Anyway, number 3.
Number 3, Ariel's Undersea Adventure.
Holy shit, okay. Okay, first of all, I was expecting that to be number 2, if not number 1. Number 3, okay.
I've said my number 1 before, I just don't know if you remember it. But yeah, I mean, it's The Little Mermaid. I've said the story with this ride so many times before. This is the ride that got me invested to like Disneyland. And yeah, it's great. I love it. Now if I had to choose between this one and the one at Disney World, I mean, I would say Disney World only because it's the castle. But yeah.
Yeah.
But either way, both times I cried, so it doesn't matter. It's the same thing.
Again, when we're talking about something immersive, like it does help when the queue is like a banger, you know, like that. And the detail that they put into that. I think the Fantasyland, minus what we mentioned before, the teacups and how like the tent is there and it's fucking ugly.
Yeah.
But I definitely see it. But Undersea Adventure, I like it. I like it. Number 3. Anything else?
No. I love it. It's great. Number 2 is Indiana Jones. Also.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, you said it all already. It's a great ride. Do I always get on it? No, because the line is always too long. But
and
I
it
mean,
always
even
breaks
like,
down.
Yeah. But like even the place to get your fast pass, like even that is like part of the ride. Like it's insane. Like the line, it's nuts that they were able to pull this off. It's great. I love it.
Another thing to add about this ride. I remember one summer when I went to go trek back home, and I remember we had a huge earthquake in Disneyland. Like everything was shaking. You could see Main Street literally like going waves. Like it was so scary, and because of that, it caused some faultness with the Indiana Jones adventure. I was so heartbroken because throughout the whole entire trip it was broken down and just you could not go on it. For me, it's a must, and I feel bad like not going on it. You know. Also, it's really interesting. That was like the talk of the town. When you go into the earthquake, it was an interesting situation.
I once lost my phone in there. But we were doing like a weekend thing. So the next day we were going to DCA, and I go up to guest services, and they had my phone there.
Oh, that's cool.
You lost your phone while riding the ride?
I don't know when I lost it, but I was inside of the ride.
Oh shit!
Like,
I don't know if it was in the line. I mean, I'm guessing it's in the queue. I don't think they would find it if it was like on the actual ride, or maybe they can. I don't know. But yeah,
unless they do nightly maintenance,
I'm sure they do. I think that's what they told me, but I don't know. Wild.
Because if that was like tossed off the phone when you're dodging a snake or something like that, it's like kind of impossible to find.
Yeah. But this is like a long time. Like we were in middle school, so like I didn't have like a smartphone, so it was like kind of whatever.
Oh, so it's not like a phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it a flip phone?
It was a flip phone.
Nice. That's that dates
Yeah.
it. That shows what guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my number 2. My number 1 is Midway Mania.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
Toy. Okay, Alexis Moreno's number one is Toy Story Midway Mania. Okay.
Wow.
I love this ride. I again don't always get to go on it because the line is always so long. But I remember the first time I got on this ride and I was just like I couldn't. I was the same way I am now. Like I think it's so cool. I mean I love like both Toy Story rides, but like I put this one on my list because this is like my favorite one, obviously. But like you're in a video game. It's like you're in a video game, which is wild. But like also like the theming of it, like all of the board games and like you're in a playroom. Like it's so cool, and then you get to play against like everybody. I love it. Like I think it's great.
Like they took a spin of like traditional carnival activities and they put a spin with Toy Story rides and made it into something innovative. And honestly, like the screens, like the way that is also, it's kind of funny. I saw like this picture of like one of the when a row of screens was shut down, and somebody figured out that they were using Windows 3.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I like this ride. It is a good ride. It is one of those like two things that you never thought would like combine really well, like Toy Story and 3D video games. And honestly, it's all the better for it. Also the animatronic, yes, sometimes the ear doesn't fit, but the potato head animatronic is probably one of the best, if not top 10 animatronics in all the parks.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So yeah, Toy Story Midway Mania, really good choice. Shocking choice for number one.
I don't know why. I mention it all the time.
I know, but like when it comes back to you, you're like, oh, okay, huh? Wait, what? It's kind of like Kombucha Girl, you know? She takes a drink, she's like, oh, wait a minute, oh.
So the list for Moreno at number 10 was Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. Number 9, Haunted Mansion. Number 8, Soarin' Over the World. Number 7, Radiator Springs Racers. 6, Pirates of the Caribbean. Number 5, The Mad Tea Party. Number 4, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Number 3, Ariel's Undersea Adventure. Number 2, Indiana Jones Adventure. And number 1, Toy Story Midway Mania. Yeah, these lists are not at all what I thought they were going to be. But it's good.
This is the Last Jedi.
Oh,
this is the Last Jedi effect. Okay. What? Did I trigger you?
No, I just don't want to go into Star Wars because then that'll be a whole thing. Overall, I really do enjoy this list. There's not a single attraction on here that I think isn't worthy of being in the top 10. I think you really, yeah, these are all like, I get it. With that. So shall I go ahead and go?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay,
are you gonna have how many honorable mentions are you gonna have?
The same as she had.
I think
10.
you said 10.
Yeah, the same.
Okay. All right. Just so I could put it in my notes.
So, quickly, well, we'll see how quick, right? The honorable mentions, the Mad Tea Party is one of my favorite Fantasyland attractions, and it's one that we always go to. It's one of the few that we actually go out of our way to wait in line because it's not that long. I think it's a worthy attraction, the line notwithstanding. But one of my favorite memories of this was actually riding this at night while the Paint the Night was going past us. That was so much fun, right? Alexis is giving like an oh my god face.
Oh
Yeah.
my god. I'm like
Yep.
crying.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay.
That happened
Yeah.
to me, but it was the fireworks and I was on Dumbo.
That's also an
Aw.
experience. That's also an experience. So yeah, the Mad Tea Party is fun, and it's easily, I feel, the shortest line you'll ever wait in a Fantasyland attraction, like day or night. And there are a lot of attractions in there. Jungle Cruise, my second honorable mention, is one of those ones that it's always a must. I just remember as a kid, one of my earliest memories of Disney was just peeking over the water on the boat, looking at a hippo, and just like, because you're a stupid kid, right? You just think that that's real. You think that
what are you talking about?
well, it was scary.
It was right. It's so scary.
It is. It's, yeah. So like if you're a kid, you're at that right age, and you believe these things are real, holy shit, you're horrified. But it's also, I think, one of my dad's favorite attractions. So, and it's an added, I think, to me, in a lot of ways, the skippers do make this much more enjoyable. When you've got a really good skipper, you got a really good experience. If you got someone that doesn't really care, well, watch out. Another honorable mention, Incredicoaster.
Alexis, it could be worse. The water could be coming inside your boat.
My next honorable mention is the Incredicoaster. Also, California Screamin'. I always love this attraction, whether it be the first iteration or this new one that we're in right now. One of my earliest memories of this attraction was, I believe it was 2004, 2005. My dad doesn't do rides that can create motion sickness, so that eliminates a lot of things out of the way with, let alone this attraction. I desperately needed somebody to go on this with me, because I couldn't do it alone. So he went on it with me, and it was awesome. And then we had to go home because my dad was pretty much dead. So well, not go home, but
It's
like
okay.
that was
I
it for
did
the day.
Same thing to my mom.
Oh shit, you did?
Well, okay. My thing was, so we got the year pass, and she said, I will ride all of the rides before our pass expires. So she did, at the time it was Tower of Terror. She did that. And then the last one that she needed was the roller coaster. So I was like, you need to do it. Keep in mind that she also takes like those motion sickness pills because she like can't with most of the rides.
Yeah.
And me and my brother were like, let's just go. Like, we'll do it this one time. It's the last time. Like, you'll be fine. It's not that fast. Blah, blah, blah. She gets on, and literally the first thing I tell her is, keep your head back because it starts off fast. And if you have your head down, you're going to stay that way. And she's like, what? And her head was down the whole time.
Oh, no. No. Oh,
and
no.
then all you hear is, like, her cussing at me in Spanish throughout the whole ride. But yeah.
Damn. Yeah, so I've written, and somehow I didn't think, when it was first announced, the whole Incredicoaster thing, I thought it was like cheap and like unnecessary. But,
I remember.
Yeah, remember that? Yeah, I was pretty angry about that. I experienced it, and I was like, well, I ate my words, because especially at night, it becomes... I think it may be a bit cliche to say that it's like The Incredibles, like in a roller coaster, but it's exactly that. And having that amazing Giacchino score, either, of course, the earlier iteration or this one, but especially with The Incredibles, it just something more. I don't know if the right word is magical, but it amplifies, I think, the experience with a beautiful Pixar pier lit up. So Incredicoaster is definitely one of those, and oh my god, it gets me so excited and pumped every time I get off this attraction. Next honorable mention. Are you guys hearing me? Is there a delay?
No, I'm good.
Oh,
You're good.
Okay. Sorry. We just mentioned this. It was a surprise mention in Moreno's list. Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. Tower of Terror, I loved, but I also hated because those fucking cast members always got me so spooked. And I did not like being scared. And it was amazing how much joy in my heart was, or how much joy was in my heart, waiting in line, looking at all these wonderful things from the Marvel Universe, the first real like Marvel attraction in a Disney park, and it being themed to the Guardians, seeing that amazing, which no one talks about as much, but that amazing Rocket animatronic was like Rocket coming to life in front of me, which was like, holy crap, that's amazing.
Again, I wouldn't know.
Oh my god, you need to be there in person to see it. And like,
I'm gonna be crying because I love the Guardians.
But they almost
so
trick
much.
you because this ride ends up being much more intense than the other one was because of how you can't anticipate when you're gonna go up or down, and they blast these beautiful like pop songs at you. And we're like, but all the while you're trying to enjoy it, but then like, you're still having to like hold on to the bars and make sure you don't fly out of your ass into the sky and everything. This ride was so much fun, so exhilarating. I walked out of this with Nettie and Eric. We all had chest pains, but like, no, literally, I had chest pains getting off this ride, but I was happy. Because I rode the ride and everything. We had to take like a 10-minute break. Actually, I think Nettie had to go to the hospital after that. I'm not sure. The Disney hospital. She had other issues, but that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Different story. But that's an intensive ride.
Way to bury the lead.
Well, that's a different thing. She was dehydrated and not feeling well the whole day, and that was not the right time to ride that ride. Which led to
other... you in.
Yeah, that really did. I mean, Eric, I think, was going to faint when we were walking out of it. Next one, Dumbo the Flying Elephant. Honorable mentions. Again, one of the more easily accessible Fantasyland attractions, and it's literally at the center of Fantasyland, and you get to see everything around while you're on one of those damn Dumbos. I will say, much like other attractions like I've mentioned, I'd prefer this at night because I love Fantasyland at night, especially. And if you're there, like I am usually in the summer months, it's pretty miserable being in Fantasyland during the day with the sun beating down on you.
Yeah, because there's little to no shade there.
Yeah. So, Dumbo is always one. That's like one that we go on. As well as my next honorable mention, which is the Disneyland Railroad. I mean, how can you not? Like, this is like, yes, it's an express way of seeing, like, Walt Disney's Magic Kingdom, as it is still billed as. Again, it's also one of my dad's favorites, just to see. I love all the diorama stuff that they filled with the dinosaurs and the Grand Canyon. That's always fun to see. But just like, you're literally on a tour of Disneyland and you're comfortably sitting down. There's nothing like it, I feel. You feel, even though like you've done it 1,000 times, you do get the sense that you're getting some kind of like a VIP behind the scenes of Disneyland, surprisingly enough, doing this. My next honorable mention is a surprise because I've only ever done this once, and this was my last time that I was there. And I think it was one of the last things that I did before we left that night, and that was the Enchanted Tiki Room.
Same.
Yeah. It kind of blew me away because it's honestly one of the most interactive attractions. They use the space so brilliantly. And I know you're not a fan of the, what's it called? The pineapple thing? What's the Dole Whip? Yes, the Dole Whip. And you're not a big fan of it, Moreno, but I had it the first time while watching that wonderful show, and I was in heaven. after like a long day, like that just was so enriching, delicious. Being able to do that while watching those birds sing about the birds and words. I don't know what it is I have to do, but it's
All the birds sing. All to add to that, it is a very refreshing thing. You know, I mean, normally with sweets, you feel like shitty after.
Yeah.
But after that, you know, you feel reinvigorated.
They have new flavors, so maybe I'll like one of those.
They do?
Yep.
Okay.
Is it because you're just not a pineapple fan?
Oh, I love pineapple. Are you kidding? The pineapple skewers? Oh my god. I like every time me and David talk about them, our mouth gets like super watery. But I think this is just like too sweet.
Okay. I think this also shows off just the pure imagination of Walt Disney. Like, you have to think to yourself, who comes up with shit like this? Like, and I can only imagine when Walt was thinking of it, he just like, yeah, we wanted to have real birds, right? Like, okay, sure. How can we have the fucking birds sing and dance? But no, I thought it was definitely worthy of an honorable mention. My next one is Space Mountain. This one, I've been on it several times at this point, and it was actually, I think, the last mountain. This was the last of the 4 mountains that I experienced. And I think the first time, I didn't.
That's gonna be the same with me.
I didn't want to vomit per se, but I was a bit nauseous the first time. I was unprepared for.
Did you do the Star Wars one?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I cried.
Star Tours, you mean?
No.
Oh,
Hyperspace Mountain.
Oh, yes, Hyperspace Mountain, yes. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing, except it starts off with the bam, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, and then you blast off, and it's like, I mean, yeah. I mean, the overlays are pretty good either way, but as far as, like, the original attraction is concerned, it's like, you are going so fucking fast, and they do a great job of making you think you're in, like, it's pitch black in there. You can barely even see the fucking stars. And it's a little, like, disturbing thinking, like, holy shit, is, like, my head about to be, like, clocked off by hitting a wrong rail, but you can't see shit. And that kind of makes it scary because you can't see any of it, and you're going so fucking fast. But it's definitely, I think, a must do for any Disney fan at some point, Kyle. Next time, bro, we'll get you on it for sure. This one, okay.
When that happens,
another Fantasyland one that I'm surprised no one else has mentioned. And I think it's like the most fun of the ones in this particular area. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not. I mean, it's funny how it ends, like with us being in hell, but it's. I think it's just the wacky nature of it. Like, it's so, and it goes by so quick, and it's wacky, and I don't know. I just like, it's just pure joy being on this thing, and provided, of course, the line isn't suicide-inducing like Peter Pan or Snow White. Honestly, Peter Pan being there ruins the other rides, unfortunately, because like the queue for that is maddening, and I never bother going on Peter Pan, which I love that attraction, but like it's just not worth it with waiting an hour in there. It's like a cesspool of sweat. Ew. Just standing in there, waiting for that. So yeah, and my last honorable mention is you guessed it, Finding Nemo Submarine Voyage. How cool was it that I got to go to an actual submarine? But
in a yellow submarine.
Yeah, in a yellow submarine.
Nonetheless.
No, like one of my favorite memories of Disney when this first opened, I think back in 2007, because of my love for Finding Nemo, I really, really wanted to get on this ride so bad. And in that trip, I'd spent several times trying to go back to it, but like the wait was always like so fucking long. And you gotta think, back in those days, Disneyland getting anything new was rare. So this was really just like congested with so many people just trying to get on. And I know that, like, God, I think we waited like 2 hours. It was at the very end of the day, just to get on this. And I was, ultimately the ride is what the ride is, right? It's just like,
it's what it is.
It's what it is. But I always really appreciated my dad, who waited with me. I always put him through shit trying to get on these attractions. And those are ultimately that's the memory that sticks with you. It's not so much the ride, but like the moments you shared with your family. Yeah. So I always remember this one. So now we get into the official top 10 and number 10. Similarly, this attraction, because of all the memories I have with this being one of the few attractions I get to go with all of my family, It's a Small World. I actually don't mind the song, unlike some people who like literally want to hang themselves hearing it.
Also, great air conditioning.
The air conditioning is a lifesaver. Like, honestly, half the time is, let's go get some air conditioning to get on this.
By the way, Moreno, because of your love for Mary Blair, I was surprised that this wasn't in your top 10. That's shocking.
If anything, it was like very close to being in my honorable mentions. And not even because of Mary Blair, but because it's my mom's favorite ride. And then also, it has, like, I attached Small World to one of my favorite memories of the park. But it just didn't make it.
Okay, fair enough.
No, I actually, I do find it quite pleasant. Being in this attraction, and it is a novel idea, as so many of those original Walt Disney attractions are, unlike anything that you experience anywhere else in the park, for sure. But as it builds and builds and builds, to me, I thought it was a cool addition, having the Disney Legacy characters added in there.
Mm-hmm. And
to me, it felt like a little bit more enriching, because then it was like, oh, cool, that this is where this Disney character is from, and this is their culture. I think we should celebrate that more. So to me, it's always a must do. Again, this being one of those great Fantasyland attractions that's not as congested as many of the ones by that 3-ring circus. But of course, the exterior of It's a Small World is just simply iconic. You can't get around that. It's just beautiful. Number 9, as both of you had this much higher, albeit, but definitely still here, Indiana Jones Adventure. This is probably lower because the last few times have not been that great. I think, to me, this is one of the attractions that depends who's operating this ride. I don't know what it was, but like the last time that I rode this with Nettie and Eric, this was the last ride of the day. Like, we were like literally hitting midnight when we got off this ride. And I don't know if it was because it was like one of the last ones, but like the guy who was operating the system, I don't know, he was like really like going over the top. Like, it felt like the best experience ever that I was riding Indiana Jones. And look, we've already talked about how Tony Baxter, the sheer scale of that attraction. The scale of that attraction it's beyond comprehension, and it's not to say nothing of the ride system. It's literally like being in the movie. And this is one that is aged like fine wine. It definitely has. Number 8 is Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. As with Moreno, I feel this is the most accessible of the mountains, the easiest to get on for so many reasons. But again, primarily because the lines in this one are so much shorter than any of the other ones. Usually with Splash or Space, even with Matterhorn these days, it can be a tall order just waiting in line to get on that thing. But with Big Thunder, they do a really good job of putting in as many people on the ride as possible and going through it quick. But yeah, I think this is my mom's favorite attraction. She and I, this is like one of the few attractions where we both get on this like several times. Like usually it's not enough. Like we wait in line for like 20 or so minutes. We get on the ride, but then we get back in line to get on it again. That's how good it is. And to me, one of the, oh god, it also can be kind of scary because sometimes I think, oh shit, this is the part where I'm gonna get my head cut off because we're gonna hit that ramp right there. No, but it's wonderful. I haven't done this at night though. I wonder how that is.
At night is great.
Yeah? Yeah, that might be a bucket list to do next time. Number 7, Splash Mountain. Different level, obviously. This one took a long time to get on. And when I finally did, I was so unprepared for what was coming. Like, you just don't know until you get on it for the first time how in danger you are of getting soaked to the brim. Now, what I love about Splash Mountain is how maddeningly inconsistent it can be. To whereas there have been times that I've been on this ride and I've been like barely wet, where I've gotten a good amount wet, or I've just been soaked from head to toe. And it's never really at the end, the drop, that you get the most wet to me. And it's really scary when they do this, but like when you're, I think toward the middle of the ride and it's pitch black.
Oh,
and you fall and then the water just hits you and you don't even see it fucking coming. It's at the same time thrilling, exciting, and horrifying. How they did that, the tricks they pull on you, and it gets me every single time when we get to the very, very end and the canoe is about to like drop down. Oh God, the feeling you get in the pit of your stomach when you see what's about to happen is like unlike anything I've ever felt. It's truly a thrilling sensation. You know,
there was this one time where me and David got on, and I got on the front because I wanted to get wet, and then he sat in the second seat. But he got most wet, like the most wet. I did not get wet. We went on again because we had another fast pass. We switched, and then he got wet again, not me.
No, that happens.
Yep.
It's honestly weird how that happens. To where like there have been times where I've been in the front and I didn't get the most wet. But if I was in the back, oh shit. It just depends on your luck. When was this?
What?
When was this?
Oof. I don't know if it was when we had our year pass, which is I think 2016. Or like in middle school. I'm not sure.
You were gonna say Kyle? Okay. Moving on to number 6, Radiator Springs Racers. Like we all said, bonafide classic, blew the doorway or the window or whatever you want to say. It's just the definition of an e-ticket attraction. It brings the thrills on top of, you know, what would appear to be a massive indoor stage show, a dark ride basically with cars. Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite memories from this was like doing the single rider, and I think I was riding with I think it was a grandma of some sort, I feel. Though I can't guess what her age was, but she was definitely older. And we were talking as like we were about to exit the car after we experienced this amazing attraction together, and she was saying how much she loved Cars Land because of how much it reminded her of many of the places she visited back in the past. So, and it tells you what an amazing job they did with Cars Land in general. I was watching Cars the other day for the first time in a while, and it was like, it's so weird watching it because, like, oh yeah, I've been to Radiator Springs, and it looks exactly like that. The way it was in the movie to where it is like in real life. So, and yeah, it's like also like probably the favorite attraction to ride with my family because it's just pure thrilling. With other attractions like Splash Mountain, not all of us go on because no one wants to get wet, or Big Thunder because like it's too fast or whatever it is. But this one is just like the right amount of like pure family friendly at this point. Number 5, also at DCA, my favorite dark ride. I think The Little Mermaid, Ariel's Undersea Adventure. It really, I feel, does a great job of just making you feel like you're really there. In a way, I know it's a little bit cliche, but it's like I just remember the excitement when it first opened, and I feel it every single time I go back on there. Just the magic of it, like when after you go by Scuttle and you're being submerged, and like the mobiles, like they go on their backs and you see the sky and like the bubbles and everything, and they blow wind at you to make you feel like you're really going underwater. Yeah, Kyle?
It's almost akin to the Doom buggies.
It is the same thing, isn't it? From Haunted Mansion, I feel it's the same kind of ride vehicle. Yeah, and it's just, I can almost imagine Moreno was like in tears in several moments of this attraction when she first rode it. But just like, you see Ariel right there, an amazing animatronic, by the way, which is hard to get her hair done anywhere near right. And then she's singing Part of Your World. And it's like, that's just, those are the moments you're literally stepping into the scene that you've seen thousands and thousands of times. Then you move on to Under the Sea, and Sebastian's right there. Yeah, I think this is like a classic attraction, a classic dark ride attraction, and I wish they had more of these at DCA, because I think it's like one of the only dark rides in that whole park. At number 4 is another one at DCA. Whoa, getting a theme here. This is one that's not been mentioned, but I feel it's, honest to God, one of my favorites, one of my favorite memories, because we go on it every single time and multiple times. It is Grizzly River Run. That is so much fun.
Okay.
So much fun. And I remember times when I just mentioned it, like last few discussions we had, but this was one of the only things to do at DCA for a very, very long time. Mm-hmm. And it was great. Like this ride
before the dark times.
Well, this ride was the other half of Soarin' being the reason why you go back to that park. I love the theming, the California theme here. And when I say it's so much fun, it's so much fun being able to ride this, not just with your family, but you always have, I think to me, a wonderful communal experience with just complete strangers. And
I've met so many people from so many different countries on that ride.
Right. Exactly. That's the point. And like, I don't know what it is about it, but there's something just so like unifying about it. Like you're all just having fun on this thing, but you're also just trying to not get wet. And it's always so fun seeing somebody get soaked or someone avoid that. And oh my God, the drops.
The smell of the orange groves is absolutely sense-inducing.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, Grizzly River Run. Number 3, which is one that both of you had on your lists, another one at DCA, and this is Soarin' over California. For all of the things that you guys both said about this attraction, I just keep thinking to the wonderful sensation you feel of flying over San Francisco, over the redwoods, the spring water, the ocean water, Disneyland. Like, nothing, like parasailing won't give you that sensation. What a simulator gives you, it gives you that magic ability of being able to fly. And oh god, and it does it every single time. You know you're not high up in the air. You know it's a fucking simulator, and yet you feel like you're there. And of course they throw the smells at you to trick you. But this is one that never gets old. And I do prefer the California one over the world one, because I really love California, and California actually has a pretty good like range of climates that we have here. At number 2, keeping in mind that I haven't experienced Galaxy's Edge, and I feel that this one, I don't know where it would be, but Star Tours is among my favorite memories of being at Disney. Just the fact that you're in a Star Wars movie and you're traveling across the stars, running away from it. I don't know what was the first time I rode this particular attraction. But this is, again, like most of these are a must going back to it. And I think it definitely says something that this was one of 2 rides that Kyle and I were able to get on in our limited 2 hours at grad night. I don't know if it was like a mission, but like, I think we were talking on the way. I don't know what it was, but we said to ourselves, if we only have 2, which 2? And it was Pirates number 1 and then Star Tours number 2, right, Kyle?
Right. Yeah. And the thing about Star Tours is that, you know, I it's fair to say that we all have like a deep love for Star Wars, right? And Star Wars is no exception. I mean, we absolutely love Star Tours, and to be immersed in that world, I think, is bar none one of the best like feelings that you could have, you know. And Star Tours perfectly demonstrates that, you know.
Yeah, and my number 1 is Pirates. No shocker there. To me, I think it is the ultimate attraction. I think nothing really touches it as far as the theming is concerned, as far as execution, as far as just transporting you to a different universe. Every aspect about this ride is just classic, about as classic as anything can get. And I don't think there'll ever be anything that comes close to touching this. It's a treasure. No pun intended.
No pun intended.
So, yeah, recap. My number 10, It's a Small World. Number 9, Indiana Jones Adventure. Number 8, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Number 7, Splash Mountain. Number 6, Radiator Springs Racers. Number 5, The Little Mermaid, Ariel's Undersea Adventure. Number 4, Grizzly River Run. Number 3, Soaring Over California. Number 2, Star Tours The Adventures Continue. And number 1, Pirates of the Caribbean. And that's my list.
Okay. While there's rides,
oh god,
Disneyland is more than that.
We're still going.
We're still going.
Fuck.
Okay. Do you guys want to do this with rapid fire, or do you want to see where it goes?
Rapid fire.
Okay. So going in the same order that we did before, we're gonna go discuss entertainment, like all the stuff that you could witness and all that stuff. Not necessarily a ride, but all the shows and presentations that you could be presented with on this. So, number 5 for me is something that reaches dear to my heart. It is the Main Street Electrical Parade. Just like when I hear the synthesized
Wait, is this your
voice,
honorable mentions or your number 5?
My number
Okay.
5. My number 5 is the Main Street Electrical Parade. I goddamn, like the experience I have with that is just like it's like one of my earliest park memories that I have. And like whenever I think of Disneyland, this is like right up there when I think of it. Main Street Electric Parade is like it's so vintage and so nostalgic, but like it's timeless as well, and it could fit with any time period. And honestly, when you hear the you're in for a good time. Number 4, some imagination, huh? Fantasmic. I think I think Fantasmic is awesome. I like my favorite bit is when the ship comes out and I'm talking about the original Fantasmic, when Peter Pan comes out, that version. When I see that happening, I feel like I'm witnessing actual Peter Pan and all that stuff happening, doing all that stuff. So I love that. I love the story that it's telling of how powerful imagination can be. It's an uplifting thing that I think excels others. And Fantasmic, it's part fireworks show. It's kind of like a little bit of everything. Parade, because except instead of on the street, it's out of the water. So that's another nice little bonus. It's everything. Fantasmic, you're getting your bang for your buck with Fantasmic. Number 3, the world is a carousel of color. World of Color, the original. I absolutely love it. It's atmospheric. The colors, the water, the pyrotechnics when we get to the motherfucking Pirates of the Caribbean section is just on point. It is lit, no pun intended. And I think that everything just accumulated with all that. And also it's like emotion. Like at the end of it, I'm actually fucking crying. Like, because I just witnessed the full glory and power that is Disney. Not to sound like a cultist, but it does embellish in all of the Disney love that I have, and to see it right there splashed, literally, all over the projections, the colors. I think that this is a perfect example of what a show can do, and then some. My number 2 is something that specific to this year, specifically because it was such like a huge like celebration of what Disney is, that I think Remember Dreams Come True with the 2005 when the gold celebration happened with the 50th anniversary. First of all, you can't go wrong with hearing Julie Andrews' voice, right? You get a lot of things. Also, it's my favorite mixing of the Indiana Jones theme. Just the way it's just like it crashes, and just the pyrotechnics that it has, and it's a huge celebration of Disneyland. It's kind of like a montage kind of thing of everything that you celebrated that day. Star Wars, you name it, everything is there. In a 15-minute thing to like say, hey, you're at Disneyland, this is the place to be, and come back again, come back home someday. And it's just a perfect way to end your trip. It's a good way to end your visit, and honestly, it's absolutely breathtaking. I still listen to the soundtrack from 2005, and it is incredible, and it still holds up to this day. Amazing. My number 1, I am first and foremost a theater geek. I love my trip to the theater, and Aladdin at the Hyperion Theater is no exception to that. I love the feeling of being in that theater, and the show also, come on, where can you go wrong with the genie? Like, honestly, the way that they insert all the his comedic bits, he's the best part of the show, obviously, but there's so much more to that. The singers that they always get is incredible and on point. It is just one of those things that you just have to see to believe it. It saddens me that it's no longer there. I don't know what Frozen is like, but Aladdin, I think, is like it captures that magic, and that the traditional Disney magic, and honestly, nothing else beats it. Honestly, I just love being in that theater, witnessing one of my favorite Disney movies just being broadcasted to me in like this fresh kind of way that you get to see the seams behind the scenes, and it's great. So those are my favorite presentations. Any thoughts about any of them? Okay, Moreno gave me the thumbs up. Okay, so speaking of Moreno, what is your top 5 presentations?
Well, I have 3 honorable mentions.
Okay.
The first one's gonna be Aladdin / Frozen at the Hyperion. I mean, you said it. Aladdin is great. Frozen, I feel, is as equally great. If we do ever go, we're gonna go watch Frozen because it's great. I don't know if this counts as entertainment or not, but I just put it on there because it's one of my favorite things to do, but meet and greets.
Okay.
I mean, I love meeting characters. Like, some of my earliest memories at Disneyland is meeting characters, so, like, I love it. And then this one, I put it in my honorable mentions because it's at Disney World, but it's the Happily Ever After fireworks. Which,
okay.
if you guys haven't seen, I strongly suggest for you guys to watch a video of it because it makes me cry every time, and they're great. But yeah. And then, so for my number 5, it's gonna be World of Color. Most of these is just kind of like a memory, like, that I have. It's not necessarily like, ooh, I love it, but because it's attached to a memory, I, like, get really emotional about it.
And that's okay. That's perfectly fine.
But World of Color reminds me of grad night, and I love it. I saw it for the first time with all of my friends, and we all were crying, and, like, the sense of that we got of, like, watching all of these, like, childhood movies, like, watching them in front of us, and then so closely to, like, graduating and stuff, like, it was wild.
It's honestly like the cream of the crop of like celebrating like not only that but like coming of age, and that's like where like nostalgia like really sets in, because like all these characters go through journeys and all that stuff, and then you're automatically affiliated with that, you know. And I honestly, it's a breathtaking bewilderment with that.
Yeah. And then the other one, my number 4 is gonna be Sensational. I freaking love this parade. I think the music is great. It's like one of my favorite musics. The costumes, I mean, forget it. Minnie's piano skirt, wow.
I love Sensational, just I mean, in general, but like I love that Mary Poppins and Tiana get their own floats.
Oh,
that's amazing.
And like I said, the music in it is just wow.
Yeah.
And you also get Mickey playing the drums. What? Excuse me?
Yep.
So my number, what am I 5 for? My number 3 is gonna be Fantasmic. It makes me cry every time. The music is great. Oh, and specifically the old Fantasmic, not the new one, because no. Because, I mean,
no.
You have glowing monkeys. What? I love. You have Peter Pan. I love. And then, so my number 2 is also going to be Remember Dreams Come True. I mean, it's like Disneyland in one. Like, I freaking love this fireworks show. And yes, you get Julie Andrews. But the reason it's in my number 2 is because when I saw this parade, it was the last time I went to Disneyland with my grandma. It was during the 50th anniversary. My grandma's favorite movie is Sound of Music. So Julie Andrews, like, was like her world. So yeah, I just love. um, and then the last one, I might cry, but it is Paint the Night. This parade means so much to me. This is, the thing that like I saw and I was like, I need to be part of this. Like, I need to work for Disney. I want to create something that makes other people the way that I'm feeling right now. And the first time that I saw it, every time that I see it, I instantly start crying. I love it so much. Yeah.
Wow. Holy crap. Okay. Top that, Alexis.
I mean, you just said okay, and she was breaking down. I mean, that's you kind of no. I mean, that's what Disney does, right? In so many ways that we don't even expect, and especially in these entertainment shows, whether it be stage shows, parades, fireworks, nighttime spectaculars. Some of the best magical moments in anything Disney related are saved for these affairs. And I would be lying if I said that at many of these shows I wouldn't shed a couple of tears because something made me emotional. So my top 5, Aladdin at number 5, for all the reasons that Kyle said. It'll always be in my heart. The Genie Stole the Show, always simply a must do, and I still mourn its death to this day. Number 4, World of Color Celebrate, the one that was trashed so viciously by many people, who can fuck off. This was the version of World of Color that was unveiled for the 60th anniversary, which was a big deal for me. You know, the 60th anniversary of Disneyland, I think I went twice for both of those for the year of the 60th. It was also the year that the three of us pretty much became friends. And it was this very special time for me. This particular version of World of Color meant kind of everything. To me, it felt like a thank you in a way of being a Disney fan all these years, and a recap of like so many different things. I love the montage of all of the animated films in the beginning of it. It gets to this point where it cuts to criminally, those bastards, they cut to a quick scene of Toy Story 3 where Andy's saying goodbye to the toys, and it's just I break down every single time. And toward the end of this version of the show, there is a montage of like all of these families who have come to Disney over the years, and that, I mean, I just broke down in tears there, because it's just like, well, yeah, that's what it's all about, right? It's like these moments with the family. And then for some people it was just, you know, trashed as, oh, they just put the commercials in there. I don't get people. Number 3, Fantasmic, the original version of Fantasmic, which is the only one that I ever experienced and the only one that ever exists to me.
Can I go back to your number 4? When you do mention it, it does go back to the key essence of Disneyland in itself. The initial concept of Disneyland was the fact that he wanted some place where families could go.
Yeah.
You know, and to capture that essence so perfectly wrapped up in a nice bow with wonderful World of Color Celebrate, I think it's I think that's like the bow on top.
That was the point, right, of that
everything.
show, was to celebrate Disneyland. It was the 60th anniversary. So I definitely appreciated that.
Also, I like how you pointed out that the Diamond Celebration really began our kinship with one another.
It was the beginning of us. The Power of Three.
Yeah, the Power of Three. Yeah, Doctor Who reference. I Diamonds, that episode that we did, Diamonds Are Forever, is just like key ingrained in me, and like the root of our beautiful friendship that we have with one another.
We mentioned it so often, and you know what? I wanted to say this about that. I was listening to the first few minutes of that episode just today, and what I found striking about it was even from the first 10 minutes, you'd think that was an episode we just did last week. It sounded like we had been recording for years, is how quickly like we connected with each other.
Yeah. And it's crazy that it all started with a mouse.
And a Lira. So Fantasmic as my number 3. This was the original like nighttime spectacular at Disney. And expectations blown away with just the sheer scale of it, oohed and awed in so many ways. I've had so many memories with this, just like waiting for it to start, and like just the beautiful the climactic showdown with Mickey and Maleficent and everything. I do remember, this is a weird memory, because I was just like, the show was about to begin, and all of a sudden, like, I looked back real quick for whatever reason, and then I turned back to the front of the show, and then I realized, oh, I'm blocking somebody's vision of the show. I think it wasn't even like a kid, because I mean, I wouldn't give a shit if it was a kid, you know, because like, but I mean, it was actually an not elderly, but she was an older woman. I was like, oh, I should probably move a little bit more this way to let her see. And she thanked me for that. And then she could see clearly the show and everything. And it just reminded me of like, I wish more people would be cognizant of that when, you know, those things happen, because far too often, and I know my mom gets so pissed off because it always happens to her, where some dad puts up their kid on their back and their shoulders, and it's like, yeah, it's for the kids, but it's like, you're not supposed to be doing that, because, well, then someone is not going to be able to see. So I'm always mindful of that, to where it's like, if I'm like waiting for a parade or waiting for a show, I'm never the type that's like, no, fuck off, I waited here. I'm like, sure, come in, we have room so you can see. Which is like, you think more people would be like that, you know? It's like, it's whatever. Come experience this. This is worth it. Number 2, Disneyland Forever, the fireworks for the 60th. This one really snuck up on me when I first experienced it, because I think I was more excited for Paint the Night and for World of Color Celebrate, but this one, God, there's just so many wonderful like moments. I think one of the most exciting ones is when because it was one of the first shows that was interactive with the castle and Main Street and all those projections going up on there, but it was one of the first one sequence, and this is when everything goes pitch black, and then you hear the opening of The Lion King, and then people just like roar with excitement. Even when Let It Go was playing, and I had this mother and daughter next to me who were like singing that, belting it out loud, just being so like excited for how excited they were at watching that.
That is quite the opposite of what I got.
What?
Yeah, okay, at Disney World. There was a segment, because, you know, it's 2014. We're in the era of, we're BF now. AF, after Frozen. And the song Let It Go came onto one of the fireworks shows that they had there. And almost everyone in unison started to boo and like groan.
That's rude.
Okay.
That's rude. That's just rude. No, but no, people loved it. And I don't know if it was just the closing moments of it that just made me like just fill up with emotion. Because, fireworks, nighttime fireworks are kind of what Disney's, in some ways their bread and butter can be. It's the perfect capper to a day at Disney. And it just, like, especially with a celebration of the 60th, it just made you so thankful that this was something that actually exists in our lives, and that so many shitty things happen to everybody, but the fact that Disneyland is a thing that's real and that we get to be at, great. And my number one is the original iteration of World of Color. Alexis mentioned this. Grad night. Grad night. All of the words that she said, go back and listen to it. I agree wholeheartedly. Kyle and I were watching it with our friends, and Alexis, I don't even know how far away your group of friends. We're from the same school and same class, although back then we didn't really like talk to each other. But like, I don't know where you guys were at and where we were like toward the front. But what was so amazing, and there were other schools there, of course, from other like places. But to me, what was so striking is that we were all about to graduate high school, and yet these were most of the films that were part of that show were literally from our childhood. Yeah, I get it. But to me, it felt like when Part of Your World came on, or when A Whole New World came on, it felt like everybody in the audience was like singing along, and just like it's honestly unlike anything else I've ever experienced with. Just the pure magic of it. It felt like Disney was just like welcoming us for coming of age or something. It was powerful.
Also, we were in the age, like, talk about a topical. We were in the age where like Pirates was at its height, and like when that came on, it's just like the roarous applause that we got when Elizabeth Turner was singing "Yo Ho, a Pirate's Life."
Oh yeah.
Everybody's like, yeah, let's do this. And honestly, like the unison and how like everybody, you could feel the vibe amongst everyone. It gets like one of those rare instances where everybody is just like solely connected with one another.
Like to me, that was the moment of grad night. Like everything else is like, okay, you have these little like DJ parties, whatever going on. Like who gives a shit? I didn't even, bat an eye over that. I was kind of upset that more rides weren't open because like, that's kind of the point of being there.
Mad.
I was. It's like, what the fuck? I'm here, but nothing's open? Like, well, why am I even here? God, it was infuriating. It was, yeah.
I have to dance to remixed versions of Katy Perry's Hot and Cold twice.
it honestly felt a little bit insulting. Like, that's what they thought we all would be interested in. It's just like DJs and dance and yeah. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
No. Nah.
Party on, man.
No. We're not that. But yeah.
I like the theming of Mad Tea Party though.
Okay, we're done. That was it, guys.
Okay. Thank you for listening. This is one of the longest episodes we've had in a while.
Wait till the next episode.
Oh yeah.
What's the next episode, Kyle?
Oh boy, we're doing a re-ranking of our Pixar films list. So buckle in, everyone.
Buckle up.
We're going for a ride. Oh boy, because we're bringing in Peter Martinez, and much like the end of Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, we're all going to hell.
I can neither confirm or deny. Some people will be assassinated live on the air.
Yep, some of us will not make it out of the episode. So yeah,
someone's getting voted off the island.
Yeah, so a lot of things are happening about that episode, but yeah, I hope you liked it, and if you did, you could check us out everywhere you listen to podcasts. Well, all the major ones. to be exact.
And hold up a minute. I don't mean to interrupt, but we have to make 2 more announcements to keep people like tuned in. We got 2 audio commentaries confirmed for Fantasy Fair, right, Miranda? What were the 2 movies that we had declared? Onward and
Frozen 2.
Yes, Frozen 2.
Frozen
Mm-hmm.
2. And you could check us out every Monday and Friday. And in these days, you're probably going to get to every day. Every day we're Disneying. Dun, dun, dun.
No.
Talk about dated. So, yeah, without further ado, I'm Kyle Lira. With me is Alexis Soto and Alexis Moreno. And as always, stay magical, everyone.